This is a Nervous Chuckles production. Hey!
I'm reviewing here!
What is this? What is going on here? Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I'm never going to do that again. A podcast where I, Matthew Bussey, watch and review sight and sound top greatest movies of all time. What is sight and sound? I don't know. Ever heard of the internet, dumbass? Just kidding. Google it. It's a long story. They announce the top greatest films of all time every 10 years. And what year is it now? 2025? 2027? I don't know. What is time? What is this? What's life? Guys, I have not recorded an episode in freaking weeks. I'm not lying. I'm not shitting you, okay, as people say. Oh, that's such a forced thing to say. Who actually says that? Are you shitting me? No one ever says that. I just say, are you yanking my chain? Or I like to sometimes say, are you chaining my gang? Because then people go, what? And then they nervously chuckle. Get it? Because it's the name of... Yeah, anyway, it's my thing is nervously chuckling. Anyway, yeah, no, it's crazy that this is very surreal. I hope I do a good job in this episode. I'm already shitting it up. And yeah, there's already like dust. I see there's dust on this microphone too. This is crazy. Yeah, where have I been? I've been here. I've been busy. I've been working. I'm not very good with time. Obviously, I don't even know what year it is, but I saw a bunch of movies way too early and didn't want to forget about them. So I just recorded so many episodes at once, and then I got really busy at work, and, I got mental health problems, so there's that. No, I'm sort of kidding. Sort of kidding about that. I do have mental health problems, but I am feeling fine. That's not really a big reason why I've been absent, but I was in the hospital. No, I wasn't. Oh my God, I am, unhinged right now. Anyway, look, it's good to be back. I hope that you've all been doing well. I am right now, how many followers do I have? Oh, I have 14. Oh, no, I have 12. Oh, no, I have 10. I actually have 10 followers now. So, yeah, people are unsubscribing. So, it's kind of, I guess I'm doing my job. I am annoying people, which is kind of fun. I knew that when I started this podcast, I would annoy the crap out of a lot of people. But, whatever. It's good to be back. Good to see you. Good to hear you. I can't see you. Here I go again. I'm always saying see. Okay, I can't see you. Okay, what do I see? I don't see you. Okay. How does this work? What's the order of this? I'm just kidding. No, I actually did have to kind of practice this a little bit because it has been so freaking long. And yeah, it's good. It's the end of the day right now. It's a Saturday and it's beautiful outside and the birds are chirping. I can hear them right now, and hopefully they do make it into this episode. No, I don't. Why would I say that? Okay, let's just get into it. Today's film, I'd never heard of it. I knew the actors, but I had never heard of the film. It reminds me a lot. I keep wanting to call it Out of the Box, like that song, Out of the Box. Out of the Box. Yeah, it's not called that, though. This is a film noir. This is a Hollywood film noir. We're going old school, black and white, 1940s, sexy, dark, brutish, brutal, violent, horny, hot. No, it's not really a hot movie. We're talking about the movie today called... Sorry, I just was thinking about something funny. Out of the Past. Out of the Past. Take a listen.
You've been a lot of places, haven't you?
One too many.
Which did you like the best?
This one right here.
Bet you said that to all the places. Please tell me, Jeff.
Well, our friend Markham lived in New York. He worked with a sort of stupid, oily gent by the name of Jack Fisher. We called ourselves detectives.
Find her, Jeff. Bring her back.
What happens to her?
I won't touch her.
Okay. Oh, by the way, you mind telling me your name?
Kathy Moffat.
Thanks. And then I saw her, coming out of the sun. And I knew why Whit didn't care about that 40 grand.
I could have run away last night.
I'd find you.
Yes, I believe you would. You glad you did?
I don't know.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything except how much I hated. But I didn't take anything. I didn't, Jenny. Won't you believe it?
Baby, I don't care. Beat it.
Look at all the angles. You know Whit and you know how far he can reach. So just pay me off and I'm quiet. But use cash. Don't try to pay me off with pitch handed to you with this cheap piece of baggage.
They say you killed a man.
Do you believe him?
Not until you tell me.
You believe everything I say, don't you?
Everything you say to me, I believe.
You know, a dame with a rod is like a guy with a knitting needle.
What's he doing here?
The punching in this film, the sound effects, I totally forgot about that. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Yeah. Oh, that's such a fun sound effect. I've never punched anybody as of this episode recording date, and I hope to never ever punch anybody. I don't know. My sister and I would like hit each other when we were toddlers, but that's not punching. Punching, it's a total myth. It does not make that noise. Anyway, I've talked about that ad nauseum in previous episodes, I think. Have I? Maybe just in my mind. Out of the Past. Damn, this movie came out in 1947. Like I said, it's a film noir. It was directed by this man named Jacques Tourneur, who is a French-American filmmaker. I'd never heard of him. I really was not familiar with him, and I was very surprised that he did this movie because it's a very seriously made, excellent movie too. And he did a lot of like very campy horror movies in the early days of Hollywood. He did films like Cat People, I Walked with a Zombie, The Leopard Man. I've never seen Cat People. I know it was remade with my favorite actress name, which is Nastasia Kinski. Paris, Texas, go listen to that episode. Also, go see that movie. Amazing movie. Anyway, Cat People, I've never seen it, but I think it's a movie about a woman who is like convinced that she's a cat and she can like get men like hard or something. It's so weird. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, Jacques Tourneur, he did a lot of campy kind of horror films, and Out of the Past is just a very, very special kind of film. You know, it's a film noir about a character who obviously, you know, has made a lot of mistakes, has killed people in the past, but, you know, he's like, I don't know how else to say this. He's one of those gangster guys who is like really likable and you kind of want him in your life, even though he could get you killed. You know, he's that type of character. And I think that's also why so many of us love, you know, Martin Scorsese and gangster films so much. You know, it's because if you have a good, tough guy in the role, even though he is so, you know, violent and unpredictable, there's just always something charismatic. That's the word I'm thinking of. Sorry. That is the word I'm thinking of. You know, I think that's also why film noir is just such an enticing, really kind of like, it's become like a cult, like a cult favorite among so many movie buffs, you know? So Out of the Past, honestly, I loved it. Great film noir, great old school, old-fashioned Hollywood film. It was based on a book called Build My Gallows High, which came out in 1946 by this author named Daniel Mainwaring, I think is how you say his name. And he wrote the screenplay for this film. This film was also remade in 1984, I believe. Yeah, 1984, with Jeff Bridges and Rachel Ward and James Woods, called Against All Odds. And also one of the leads in this film, Jane Greer, was also in that remake too. Just really quickly, and then I'll get into the movie. Against All Odds, my parents were like obsessed with this film as a kid, and I wasn't really allowed to watch it, but me being young and, you know, a little like curious. All right, I'll be dirty for like 1 second. There's a sex scene in the movie. On the beach. And when my mom and dad were in the other room, I knew that scene was coming up, and I watched it, and that's it. Okay, there, I admit it. I just had to get it off my chest. Yeah, I don't really remember that movie that well, though. But Out of the Past, though, it stars, Jane Greer, who was an actress. She was really also only known for this film. And it also stars Robert Mitchum in the lead. Who was Robert Mitchum? Apparently, he was like a really big film noir actor, and I never freaking knew that. And I've known Robert Mitchum. I've known of Robert Mitchum since I was a child. And yeah, he fits the role perfectly, but I also looked at his filmography and I don't know any of his film noir films. I only really know him from playing the baddie in two of the most classic thriller, even horror, you can call them horror films ever, The Night of the Hunter and Cape Fear. So good. He was really good at playing villains. And Robert Mitchum, damn, just a really, really phenomenal actor. Cape Fear, they did remake that with Robert De Niro. It wasn't really as good. Go see the original. Well, actually, the original. The remake's good too. Also, Kirk Douglas is in this. This was one of his first films ever. Kirk Douglas, Spartacus, that dude, father of Michael Douglas. We all know who Michael Douglas is. Yeah, Kirk Douglas too. He lived to be like 171. Basically, he died in 2020, like right before lockdown happened. Yeah, great actor. Damn, great movie. Alrighty, let's get into it, shall we? Are you ready? Here we go.
Plot synopsis.
Film noir. Well, obviously, if this is a film noir, you know that there's going to be a femme fatale, which is a very sexy but dangerous female character who usually wears white and has really old-fashioned hair. I keep saying old-fashioned. I don't know any other word to say. Yeah, that, and there's detectives, and there's, violence and sex, and the guy falls for the dangerous woman, and there's it's like twisted and blah, 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 but you don't really see any sex because this is 1947, Hollywood we're talking about here. So it's just, you got to leave it to the imagination. Anyway, out of the past. Joe Stefanos arrives in Bridgeport, California, a rural mountain town, seeking Jeff Bailey. Jeff Bailey is played by Robert Mitchum, who owns a local gas station. Bailey is fishing with Ann Miller. They are in love, and her lifelong friend, Jim, is jealous. That's important to remember. Ann Miller, too. She's so lovely in this film, this actress. Virginia Houston? Never heard of her. Good. Joe Stefanos, played by Paul Valentine? Never heard of him either, but that's a cool name. So anyway, they're in love. Jeff and Ann Miller are in love. And Jeff Bailey, you see Robert Mitchum. He's a normal-looking guy. He doesn't really look like a gangsta. The kid, Jeff's deaf-mute employee and friend, interrupts them, signing to Jeff. At the station, Stefanos tells Jeff that he must go to Lake Tahoe and meet Whit, W-H-I-T, Whit. Jeff invites Ann to ride with him, and it's there where he tells her about his past in a flashback. Cue the flashback. Yes, it's a little predictable, the way that this was in so many old films with the way they handle flashbacks. You know, it's just like, that effect. That's like that effect that they do. Anyway, Bailey's real last name was Markham. He and Jack Fisher were partners, private investigators in New York. Oh, sorry, I just had to swallow. Yeah, Jack Fisher was played by Steve Bird. I keep acting like I know these actors, but I don't know shit. Whit Sterling, a gambling kingpin, hires Markham solo to find Whit's girlfriend, Kathy Moffat, who shot him and stole $40,000. Kathy, Whit promises she will not be harmed. Yes, so already you're like, what? Whit Sterling, of course, is played by Kirk Douglas, and Kathy is played by Jane Greer, who I mentioned before. Jane Greer, she is so good in this film. Beautiful, too. Yeah, very, very good. But yeah, Whit promises that she's not going to be harmed. Jeff eventually corners Kathy in Acapulco. He is immediately taken by her beauty, of course, and begins a relationship, with her. She admits that she shot Whit, but denies taking his money. Eventually, Jeff proposes that they run away together. Whit and Stefanos, is it Stefanos or Stephanos? I don't know, I forget. Whit and Stefanos arrive. Jeff says that Kathy is on a southbound steamer. Whit instructs Jeff to keep looking for her. The couple goes to San Francisco. Fisher, now working for Whit, spots Jeff at the track. Jeff arranges to meet Kathy at a mountain cabin, but Fisher follows Kathy and tries to blackmail them. The two men brawl. Oh yes, that's what you heard in the trailer. Kathy deliberately kills Fisher and drives away, leaving behind a bank book. I almost just said bank booty. Bank book showing a balance of $40,000. The flashback ends. So we're back in the present. Jeff wants to clean things up and return to Ann. Ann leaves him at Whit's estate. A cheerful Whit tells Jeff he has a job for him. Jeff is startled when Kathy appears at breakfast. She comes to his room. He tells her to get out. Leonard Eels, a crooked San Francisco lawyer, helped Witt dodge $1 million in taxes and is blackmailing him. Witt wants Jeff to recover the incriminating records. Eels' secretary, Meta Carson... Oh, God, yeah, I forgot. If you're confused, this is one of the films that you have to watch. Reading a description of it doesn't really help, so I do apologize. I mean, I didn't write this description, but yeah. There's just a lot of characters in this film. Eels' secretary, Meta Carson... like Facebook Meta, explains the plan to Jeff, who suspects he is being framed. That night, at Eels' apartment, Jeff alerts Eels obliquely, promising to return. After they leave, Jeff trails Meta, then returns and finds Eels dead. He hides the body. So, okay. Jeff, like I said, he is mad in love with Kathy, but Kathy is just, full of trouble. And he's not a perfect guy, obviously. He makes mistakes, But this whole time you're watching it, he's not the villain in this film. You know that this is kind of the weird thing about a lot of these gangster films and a lot of these thrillers, too. Like I remember watching the movie Heat, where I talked about how Robert De Niro's character, he's a criminal and he just can't leave it. Criminals, a lot of them, they can't leave it. They have nothing left. In movies, not in real life. I'm sorry. No, please don't quote me on that. I just mean in movies. So many of them, it's like it's done. Their life, their fate is sealed in a weird way. And unfortunately, they're either just not strong enough to get out of it, or they know that there's just no other way for them to really, survive in life. So, but I think what's interesting about Jeff Bailey is that he does just want to escape. He does just want to get over his past, He wants to get out of the past. Okay. In Meta's apartment, Jeff overhears Kathy arranging for the discovery of Eels' body. Busted. But it's kind of obvious that she killed him, honestly. When the hidden body is not found, she believes Eels has escaped. Jeff confronts her, and Kathy reveals that she gave Witt a signed affidavit swearing that Jeff killed Fisher. She says they can all start over again. They kiss, he leaves. Stefanos arrives and confirms that he killed Eels. Ooh! See what I did there? I lied. I lied to you. Jeff consigns the tax papers to a delivery service. Witt's thugs capture him. God, so much happens in this scene. He offers the incriminating records in exchange for the affidavit without implicating Kathy. When Kathy and Meta arrive at Eels' apartment to retrieve the affidavit, the police are already there. They instead phone Witt. Jeff becomes wanted for the murders of Fisher and Eels, and police expect him to return to Bridgeport. Stefanos, directed by Kathy, trails the kid, remember the kid, the deaf guy, the deaf kid, to the gorge where Jeff is hiding out. The kid spots Stefanos poised to shoot Jeff and hooks his coat with a fishing line, pulling him off balance so he falls to his death. This scene was hilarious. Jeff returns, that was like, yeah, so good. Jeff returns to Witt's mansion to inform them of Stefanos' death and to tell Witt about Kathy's double cross. He suggests making Stefanos' death look like a guilt-ridden suicide after his murder of Eels. He would return the records if Witt destroys Kathy's affidavit and hands her over to the police for Fisher's death. Witt accepts, promising Kathy he will kill her if she does not cooperate. God, how do people get involved with these bad guys? It's insane. Money? Sex? Like, what? Are they just good in bed and they're like, I want to be there? I don't get it. Oh my God, it's insane. Yeah, it's truly, I am floored. Jeff meets Anne in the woods. She believes, the cinematography in this scene is so good. Jeff meets Anne in the woods. She believes in him, but tells him to be absolutely sure of what he wants. She will wait. Jeff discovers that Kathy has killed Witt. Finally, Witt is so annoying in this film. She gives Jeff a choice: run away with her or take the blame for all 3 murders. Oh my God. He dials the phone while she is upstairs. They leave in a car with Jeff driving. Seeing a police roadblock ahead, Kathy shoots him. I laugh because it's so fake. She fires at the police. A machine gun riddles the car with bullets, killing her. Again, so fake. In Bridgeport, but I get it. I'm not making fun of the movie. It's old. There I go again, old school. In Bridgeport, Anne asks the kid if Jeff was going away with Kathy. Lying, the kid nods his head. Anne gets into Jim's car and the kid smiles, saluting Jeff's name on the gas station's sign. Such a good ending. So, oh, right. The end.
I never wear them.
All right. Please.
No, thank you.
My name is Jeff Markham, and I haven't talked to anybody who hasn't tried to sell me something for 10 days. If I don't talk, I think. It's too late in life for me to start thinking. I could go down to the cliff and look at the sea like a good tourist, but it's no good if there isn't somebody you can turn to and say, nice view, huh? It's the same with the churches, the relics, the moonlight, or a Cuba Libre. Nothing in the world is any good unless you can share it.
Maybe you ought to go home.
Maybe that's why I'm here.
Is it? Well, there's always Jose Rodriguez. If it gets too lonely, there's a little cantina down the street called Pablo's. It's nice and quiet. Man there plays American music for $1. Sip bourbon and shut your eyes. It's like a little place on 56th Street.
I'll wear my earrings.
I sometimes go there.
Yeah, so, like, a lot happens in Out of the Past. There were times I got a little bit lost, but, again, this is a film... I think, like so many film noirs, this is a film where sometimes it doesn't totally matter if you can't follow what's going on. It's just it's an entertaining little popcorn flick where you know who the baddies are, you know who the goodie is, and you're just oddly rooting for the goodie, even though you know that this good guy. Sorry, who the hell's this goodie? You know that this good guy clearly, isn't perfect and has made a lot of mistakes, but that's all that matters, and the movie works so well because of Robert Mitchum's charisma as an actor. I mean, he crushes this role so much, he saves it. And, I think also it's the cinematography too, that, is kind of like the other, brilliant thing about this film. Nicholas Musuraka, I think was how you say his name. He also, God, you see, again, everybody's connected here. He also did cinematography for a lot of like B-movie horror films, the same kinds of films that Jacques Tourneur did. So, the color, the black and white in this film, not colors, the black and white and the way that he messes around with the light, is fascinating. I think one thing that, we were always taught at film school is how light, you can play around with light so much on characters to really represent ambiguity or make light like a metaphor for any inner turmoil or any inner conflict that characters are going through. And there's a lot of that here. And I think, there's a lot of just really, at the same time, like really simplistic, naturalistic shots, like there's the shot of Jeff and Kathy sitting on the beach and you just see the wind blowing in her hair, and it's just great. Yeah, I don't know. This film, like, I didn't really think about morals, or I didn't think about what it's trying to say or anything. I've kind of already, I think I already have a good idea that this is a film about how you just can never escape your past. You can't. No matter what you do, if you run away, if you just get a new identity, it's always going to come back and bite you on the butt. Oh, fuck. I wanted to like say that properly, but I stuttered a little bit. I think it's that type of film, and again, it's a film about a guy who really is, you can tell, good deep down, and he knows, people know that too, I loved Anne so much in this film. I love how they don't depict her as running away the second that he tells her, about his past or anything. She sees in him, I know that you don't need to be that guy, but he doesn't really seem to know that in a weird way, and it's the kid. I love the shot of the kid at the end where, he lies to her because he knows he wants to protect him too. And that's kind of the only way, because he is a good guy deep down. So, yeah. This is just all thanks to Robert Mitchum, honestly. If you don't know Robert Mitchum, if you're new to watching old films or film history and you want to learn more, go see The Night of the Hunter. Well, go see this film. I am recommending it. And go see The Night of the Hunter. BTS Secrets and Scandals! What happened on this film? Nothing too shocking, really. Filming got off to a rocky start on Out of the Past with a near-fatal plane accident at the Bridgeport Airport landing field. The pilot, who was accompanied by Robert Mitchum, a studio accountant, and an assistant to executive Warren Duff, realized his brakes didn't work when they touched down, causing the plane to crash through a fence, over a ditch, and through an outhouse before coming to a stop. Terrifying. Although the two men in the back seat were knocked unconscious, Mitchum and the pilot were not hurt. Typical of Mitchum's nonchalant attitude. Yeah, I can see that. I can see Robert Mitchum being like a stoner. He quickly crawled out of the wreckage, dusted off his clothes, and thumbed a ride into town to begin filming. The show must go on. That's nuts. That's totally crazy. Jane Greer recalled that the laconic Robert Mitchum projected an equally cavalier attitude off camera. She got the impression that he came to the set unprepared in order to give a more spontaneous performance. She explained, I remember him saying, "What are the lyrics?" to the script person. Lyrics? I guess that's what they called them back then. Lines, that's what I'm thinking of. "I never know the lyrics," he'd say, and she would give him the lines. I said, "You don't learn your lines beforehand?" And he'd say, "Nah." Yeah, he must have been such a laid back. Did people have been smoking pot forever, right? Or was that, when was pot invented? We don't need to go down that route. I just mean that, yeah, Robert Mitchum definitely, he has like that stoner, like, whatever, man, let's do a shot. Oh, I'm going to jump off a plane and I'm not going to go to the hospital. You know, he's got that personality, I can only presume. Jane Greer also took notice of the differing personalities and styles of her leading men. She found that Robert Mitchum was protective on the set. She said that he was just terrific to me and just took care of me, even the way I looked. One costume I wore was a little too large. Bob was the one who noticed it was bulging around the waist. So he stopped everything, borrowed a pin from the wardrobe lady, and gathered it in and pinned me up in the back. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. Look, we all read about men in Hollywood since the beginning of time and how unbelievably disrespectful they were to women and how women just were not safe at all on set and they could just get touched and everybody would be like, whatever, cool. Yeah, it's great to finally read about a guy who was like, no, I'm going to help you. And I swear it's not an act. I'm going to help you. Yeah, it's really nice. On the other hand, Greer said Kirk Douglas is a more physical actor. He bruised my arms grabbing me and my face was roundly slapped. How he did Champion, which was a film, without maiming his partner is a miracle. Yeah, Kirk Douglas, oh man, great actor. I read something, I didn't put it in here because it doesn't relate to the movie, but yeah, there was rumors that Natalie Wood, the actress, was raped by Kirk Douglas when she was 16. He never confirmed or denied it, and yeah, it's awful. It's just so awful. Oh man. Anyway. The best moment. Probably the hooking scene when the kid, wait, where are they again? They're on like a cliff. Yeah, the fishing line. When Stefanos gets killed. Yes, that part made me laugh. And I liked it. It was very funny. I think maybe, I don't know if it was meant to be funny, but it definitely had like a B movie, almost like Three Stooges, skis kind of sense of humor to it. So I don't know, maybe Turner did that on purpose. Who knows? Mais est-ce que je suis d'accord avec les critiques de ce film? The critics love this movie. Roger Ebert loved it, but I did not put his quote in because he just kind of said, oh, it's a great noir. Go see it. Very good. Nice job. So kind of boring. Mick LaSalle of San Francisco Chronicle said, cinematic perfection. He said the movie's cinematic perfection, a Hollywood classic that's as great and as enjoyable as its reputation has promised. Yeah, you see, that's the thing about this film that I never knew. It really does have a reputation. This really is like kind of a cult classic in the noir genre. Yeah. Mike Massey of Gone with the Twins said, I love that. He called the movie an archetypal film noir featuring bright white lights, extra dark shadows, heavy rain, perpetually lit cigarettes, and a generous portion of flashback storytelling. Yes, there are so many cigarettes in this film, I lost count. Sean Burns of WBUR's Arts and Culture said, a melancholy dream of a movie with Mitchum at his most magnetic and insouciant. Nearly every line a zinger, and so many cigarettes smoked so seductively the film could cause cancer in casual viewers. Wouldn't that be crazy if you could get cancer from watching people smoke, just watching them in a movie? Yeah, you're funny, Sean Burns. I do agree, though. Yes, a lot of smoking. Richard Brody of New Yorker said, each change of angle and shift of light evokes an inner disturbance. See? Yes, I agree. That's what I was saying earlier. The actors seem to push through the dense shadow as through water, revealing fast people in slow motion. Damn. I just wish I could write like that. Scott Tobias of Glyph's Film Guide said, this film is excellently directed and edited. Not a moment is wasted in extraneous diversions, and the timing of each scene is impeccable. I love that word, impeccable. Yeah, I apologize if this episode I might have not really explained why it was so good, why I enjoyed it so much. Sometimes there are movies that are just extremely entertaining, and that's it. Period. That's it. Case closed. No questions asked. Lizzie McGuire quote. Sorry, I've always wanted to say that in a podcast. I've said it out loud to my friends all the time, and they're like, what are you doing? Is it really one of the best movies of all time? I don't think so. I'm going to say no. Great movie, not really one of the best films. I think this was and look, also, I don't love... Well, I may have said I love film noir in this episode. I can't really remember. But I love film noir. I do. It's just not one of my favorite genres. Like my favorite genre will always be horror. I just love horror movies, and so I think maybe that's why out of the past, I really enjoyed it thoroughly throughout, but I don't quite know if it stands out, when in comparison to all of these other equally excellent films that I've reviewed on this podcast. So no, I'm going to say no. But it's not a bad thing. I've said no to many films on this podcast before. Films that, if I said that to a film critic, they would probably, kill me right then and there. So anyway, thank you all for tuning into this episode. I will catch you next week. The film I'm reviewing next week is a film called Vivre sa vie, or To Live Your Life, basically, but that's not really what it's called. Vivre sa vie. It's a French film by Jean-Luc Godard. Go see it, because yes, as you know, and I always forget to say, I do give spoilers on this podcast. So if you want to follow along, please do. And yeah, I'll see you next time. In the meantime, get your ass off the couch and go to the goddamn movies, okay? I don't care if you have a stomach ache. As you're walking to the theater, take some Tums, use the bathroom at the movie theater, and you will be fine. If you can't hold it, well then just go outside, okay? God. I mean, like in a trash can, go outside. I don't mean like go in public, but okay, that's all. Bye! Oh, you made it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at I'm Reviewing Here. You can also subscribe on YouTube. New episodes drop there the same day they drop on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review if you'd like. Be mean, be nice, hit on me. I don't really care. Candor really, really is important to me, and, it helps the podcast too. So I really hope you enjoyed it. This podcast is brought to you especially by Nervous Chuckles. That is my fake production company, because I make people nervously chuckle all the time, because they never know if I'm telling a joke or not. So they're always like, do I laugh? Do I not laugh? Is he serious? Is he insane? Did he get out of the loony? What's going on? So if I made you nervously chuckle, then that means that I did my job, and thank you. There is no funding for this podcast, but if you want to give me money, then, hit me up. DM me. Bye-bye.